So I'm a board certified psychiatrist, and it's my mission to help psych NPs practice psychiatry with confidence. And so in this video, we're going to be covering why psych NPs feel lost after graduation. So I'll tell you a story. I remember when I was in my third year of medical school. And so this is when we go from our first 2 years, which are book study, to our third year, which is clinicals. And we rotate across different specialties like internal medicine, neurology, OB-GYN, surgery, psych, et cetera, et cetera. And so I remember I was doing an ER rotation, and the patient had some kind of infectious disease. And so they basically had to have us gown up head to toe to go see the patient. And so I remember thinking like, oh, wait, but how am I going to take notes if I have to gown up and I can't get this contaminated? And so I told my med student colleague who was there with me, and he was like, "Bro, just remember it." And it's funny, this guy was super genius. He's a neurosurgeon out somewhere. And I was like, "Yeah, it's easy for you." His advice was correct. And so I went in there and I just focused on keeping it in my head. And lo and behold, now I remembered it. I forgot some details and stuff, but whatever. And then as I kept going across my clinical journey, I was always impressed by our attending physicians who would just remember all these different patient details about patients, and like they never took any notes. And I was like, wow, that's so cool. I can't do that. And the way that it worked for us in medical training was like, okay, in med school, I might have had let's say I'm doing a psych rotation. In med school, I might have had 2 patients under my panel. In residency, I might have started with 4, then you go up to 5 and 6. And then as an attending, I might have the full 8, 10, 12, the full inpatient panel. So just like a medication, our patient loads were titrated up, progressive overload. We got better and better. And so where I felt lost as a third year med student, now as an attending 5, 6 years later, I don't feel lost at all. This really crystallized for me when I remember I was in my third year of residency. So about 4 years later after that story, and there was a patient we were interviewing, me and the attending were, and I didn't take any notes. I just went straight off memory and then typed up the note after. And the attending was like, "What? You didn't take any notes?" And I was like, "Yeah, I really just focused on remembering the patient's story in that encounter." And I realized how far I'd come because I felt confident enough to do that. Whereas 4 years prior, I did not feel confident enough to do that. In your situation, you have gone through psych NP school. And unfortunately, these schools rob you because they teach you a lot of theory, and like you might have learned some farm lectures or some DSM-5 diagnoses and stuff. But that's just a framework, and that doesn't teach you how to take care of patients in real life. The only way we learn how to take care of patients is from mentorship from other people, seeing how it's done. Just I can ask ChatGPT to tell me the ins and outs of being a mechanic and like how to fix my car, and it will give me the technical info. But if I wanted to learn how to fix my car, then I'd have to work under a mechanic. I'd have to be an apprentice under a mechanic or a plumber or an electrician, or whatever. So it's the same thing in psychiatry. There's a concept we have called tribal knowledge, which means that this knowledge is not in any books, but rather it's passed down from person to person. Just like back in the day, tribe leaders, elders would pass down knowledge from generation to generation. So it would stay within the tribe. It's the same thing with psychiatry. And so what happens now is that now you've graduated and now you go to a job. The problem is the job expects you to have already amassed this tribal knowledge, and they expect you to be able to practice autonomously seeing patients. But you haven't been taught that. You might have had some shadowing, a little bit of clinical experience, but that's not enough to fix the car on your own. Imagine if the mechanic, you just watch them fix the car, and then all of a sudden your car breaks down and then you have to fix it on the side of the road, right? Like you don't have the knowledge to do that. So that's what these jobs are doing, is because they are also taking advantage of you, where basically their goal is to use you to crank out their labor, right? They want you to see patient after patient, simple patient, complex patient, who cares? Because their investment is not to teach you, because they don't make money by teaching you. They are invested in using your knowledge, your labor, basically your credentials to crank out patients and to make money for the practice. That's why literally the practice, the clinic, the hospital runs. It's to keep that churn going. And when I think back to my med school time, my residency time, I was fortunate because when in residency, we are exposed to so many different psych clinicians, and it's a very carefully thought out curriculum that by the time we all graduate from residency, which is a 4-year thing, by the way, then we are capable of practicing independently as psychiatrists. In my 3rd year, right, I had a psych rotation. In my 4th year, I had a couple psych rotations, each a month long. Then in residency, it's just 4 dedicated years of psychiatry. So I spent time on the inpatient wards, spent time outpatient, spent time in the VA, spent time testifying in court. I've worked in the jail system, community mental health, geriatrics, child and adolescent psychiatry. I've worked in schools. I've worked in behavioral autism clinics. I've worked in partial hospitalization programs. So like all of that, I've worked under all these different people and gotten all this different experience. And so that's what makes me a capable psychiatrist. But for you, your training gets robbed and you don't have that experience. So you have to seek it out elsewhere. And that's the reason why I created Level Up Psych Academy, our program, which is dedicated towards helping psych NPs practice psychiatry with confidence, because I've seen the struggle that psych NPs have gone through. I've realized that for me, right, like I would have gone through the same struggle myself if I didn't have the mentorship already built into my career, and I know that you don't. So that's why I built this, to help bridge that gap and to give you the knowledge and skills that I have learned too. A lot of doctors will say that, oh, these NPs, if you wanted to practice like a doctor, you should have gone to med school. To that, I say, okay, let's have some empathy for a second. I'm like, imagine if you were, I think about this for myself. I'm like, if I was a nurse and I was practicing for whatever years, and then this path opens up to where I can have more clinical responsibility, I can learn my field more in depth, I can learn how to prescribe, I can make more income. I'd be like, yeah, of course, this will advance my career. Of course, I will go down this path that's created for me. And I wouldn't know that the schools are only there to make money and to scam me. I wouldn't know that the jobs are there just to use my labor to generate a profit. I wouldn't know those things. So I would go down that route. And then when I get exposed to all that stuff, then it's too late. And that's where I think that we should have more empathy towards each other as clinicians. And as doctors, we can be more of a leadership role for our NP colleagues rather than shitting. But that's my opinion. But the point being is that I think this is why you might feel so lost after graduation, is because the system is designed to not fully teach you and leave you being a capable clinician. Everyone just passes the buck. So the school says, oh yeah, we'll let the jobs handle it, right? Once they're in the market, then they'll learn how to be an excellent clinician. And the jobs, oh, they learned that in school and we don't need to teach them anything. And so then the NP who wants to really do gets stuck in the middle. It's unfortunate, but that's the reality and that's the system that we're working in. And it's either we complain and cry, or we adapt, or we level up. And so for the psych NPs who are like interested in doing that, who are called to that mission, they want to be excellent clinicians, right? Those are the people that join our PMHNP Academy. If that's you, I would definitely recommend checking it out in link under this video or in our bio. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you in the next video.